Hey, this is Kevin with Consumer Reports, and today I'm doing a video showing the external features for ATN, which is American Technologies Network, their Binox HD 4 to 16 power day-nighttime binoculars. And just real quick, sometimes in the video I call them the BinoX. I think the actual true pronunciation is going to be Binox, but so cut me a little bit of slack as I bounce back and forth with the nomenclature. Last year I completed my review of the ATN X-Sight day-night rifle scope, and this particular model was the 5 to 18 power day-night rifle scope, and I really enjoyed that rifle scope and still do. You know, I've had the opportunity to take a few critters with it, and it's just performed great. You know, one of the things that I found using this particular rifle scope was a lot of times I'd be set up watching a very particular area, but at night, you know, if I wasn't watching that area, you know, but I was maybe trying to call in something, I found that you know, I would pick up the rifle and then just start scanning around. And you know, to me, it made the strong case that having a pair of binoculars, for example, the ATN BinoX, would, you know, make such a huge advantage or companion to the rifle scope that you know, I went ahead and ended up, you know, getting a pair here for review, and hopefully to be able to use in concert with the rifle scope as I'm doing some nighttime hunting. Now for the X-Sight itself, the rifle scope, I did a multi-part review. I don't know, I had maybe 7 or 8 different parts last year, and honestly I'm not sure how many different parts of the review I'm going to have here on the BinoX or Binox. I'm not sure exactly what they're calling it, but I'm not sure how many parts that this is going to end up being in the end. But most likely there's going to be more than just this part 1, because right now I'm going to really try to cover what you get when you purchase this pair of day-night HD binoculars. As you can see, the binoculars came in a very impressive packaging system, which includes a display case right here on top, plus a box portion in the bottom, and down here in the box is where you'll end up with the accessories that go with the binoculars. Basically inside the packaging you have the display case portion, another box, and then the outer case right here, which has all of the advertising information about this particular unit, and I'll just cover some real quick. It has Wi-Fi, e-compass, video recording, total darkness capability, GPS, geotagging, you can take photos, image capture, and image stabilization, and a gyroscope. This particular one is the 4 to 16 power. The resolution is 1080p. The display is 1 megapixel. The Obsidian core is 1 gigahertz. It'll use a micro SD card, not included. Video recording capability is in either 1080p 30 frames per second or 720p 60 frames per second. It has a remote viewer via the Android or the iOS apps or operating systems, and it has ports to support the micro HDMI, micro USB, and micro SD cards, and it's powered by 3 CR123 batteries, and it also can be powered, it doesn't really say here, but it can be powered by an alternate battery source that we'll talk about later on. Now you can go to the ATN website, and you know what you'll see is they really do a great job with the graphics as far as trying to advertise their product, and I think they've also done the same here with their box. I do want to point out here that on the bottom, you know, it does say made in China, which you know, obviously we see a lot of that nowadays. It would be nice to see made in the USA, but that's just the way it goes. After pulling everything out of the boxes or packaging, you can see that the unit comes with the binocular itself here. It comes with a case here. which you know, the case has a little bit of padding with it. I wouldn't say that it's overly padded at all, but it does have a case. It's got a neck strap here, which seems pretty decent. You know, it's got a low friction surface or a high friction surface right here on this side, and then I guess it's neoprene on the other side. It comes with a lens cap right here, which would go on the front. Lens cleaning cloth, 3 CR 123 batteries, and a quick start guide. To give you an overview of the binoculars, you know, what you can see here, you know, is that this is the top of the binoculars, and up here, you know, you've got your keypad or your input pad, and power on, enter, and some arrow buttons for navigation. It says right here GPS or Wi-Fi, which I guess is indicating that it's capable. I believe that little hole right there beside my thumb is the microphone. On the side here, the right side, what you're going to see is that you've got some HDMI. Let me see if I can flip it open. You've got your, and I know you can flip it open and turn it around because I've already done it once. You've got your micro USB, micro HDMI, and your micro SD card slot right there. And I actually have an SD card in the unit right now. And this little flap or door will flip around like that. Put it back in place. I'll go ahead and keep turning over and let you see the bottom of it. On the bottom, you've got a battery compartment here, and then you've got a tripod mount location right there. On the left side, you don't really have any controls there. Now, this the particular unit here, and what's actually happening is, even though it's in the form of a set of binoculars, you really have two things that are going on here. On the right side right here is your, we'll say, your viewing or recording capability that's built into the unit. And you know, you can kind of look at it like, you know, inside this unit there's a camcorder that has the capability of doing day and nighttime capability. You have a keypad here, just like you'd have on a camcorder, and the ability to zoom in and zoom out and change settings. But everything really related to capturing an image is here on the right side. And if you look at the right side right here in this textured area right there, it says the word focus. It's because this side is actually used for focusing your your BinoX. The left side over here is, and it's going to actually say infrared right there, this left side is actually your IR illuminator that's built into the unit. Now, you know, when you're looking through the unit, you know, with both of your eyes, you'll actually see through it like you're looking through it, just like you would with a pair of binoculars. But it's once you get past that viewing plane, at some point here within the device, it turns into your IR illuminator and your recording capability. Now, on the eyepiece end, you know, you've got these little soft rubbery cups here on the front to help give you a little bit of cushion if it's up against your eye sockets, or if it's up against your glasses. Each one has the ability to independently adjust the focus, so you can correct for whatever your diopter setting happens to be. So you can do both of those independently here. It also has the capability of adjusting to your different head sizes or eye spacing. And so by pushing these, let me see if I can do it one-handed. You can push them in to a minimum spacing of about like that, or you can push them out to a maximum spacing of about like that. Now, you know, a few more comments on the external features of it, and this has to do with the basically, we'll call it the objective end here, but like in this case right here, this side right here is the right side, and it is the the side that actually does the recording of the video or photos and provides the image to the viewfinder. For focusing this, and I don't know if you can tell when I turn this, but the whole body turns when you focus. I'm not saying that's a bad or good, I'm just saying that's the way it is. And it has a pretty firm resistance. I don't know if you guys, if any of you have owned the X sight itself. The X sight also had a very, very firm resistance on the focusing ring. Now, you know, this actually is kind of a different animal, because when you're using this particular unit, you've got two hands, so you can hold the unit or the binoculars up to your eyes, and then with your other hand you can easily focus your image. So I think that you know, there's a lot of resistance in that side as far as focusing goes, but the ability for you to change focus is so much easier than with the X sight. On the other side here, you can see there's also, you know, when you rotate this side right here, again, there's a lot of resistance in moving it. This is going to change the spot size for your IR illuminator. You know, so when you've got it all the way in one direction, it's going to be more of a spotlight or a spot beam, and when you rotate it in the other direction, it's going to be more like a flood. The overall texture of the surfaces has like a rubbery, armored feel to it, pretty much across the whole surfaces. You know, it's kind of a mix between, to me, it's rubbery, but at the same time, it seems a little bit smoother and harder than some of the other rubbery surfaces. You know, for example, like a Hogue grip, to me has a very rubbery, sticky feel to it. This has the same feel, but at the same time it has a slickness to it that's not quite as sticky as would say like a Hogue grip. The binoculars with batteries weighed in at 1 pound and 14.6 ounces. To give you an idea of how that might compare to another set of binoculars, this happens to be just a set of Steiner 8x42 binoculars here, and ended up weighing in at 1 pound 9.8 ounces. So, you know, clearly the BinoX binoculars are heavier, but you're kind of getting a different kind of animal with those binoculars. Now the battery compartment looks like this right here, and you can see it accepts 3 CR123 batteries. It's got a little piece of ribbon here so you can put up under your batteries to help pop them out when you're replacing them. Now this is with the batteries installed, and what I found is if you're installing the batteries, if you put this one here in the center of the binoculars in first, then they all drop in a lot easier. If you go in the other direction and try to put that one in last, it's a little bit more difficult. I do want to point out that you know, this device is not waterproof by any means. The rubberish coating on it might make it weather resistant, and I'll have to look and see what it actually states in the specifications, but this unit is not considered to be waterproof. Now, one of the things that you're going to find, you know, once you get the unit, you know, one of the first things that you're going to want to do, and it talks about it in their literature, is you're going to want to go and look and see, you know, what version of firmware or software is actually installed in the unit. And that's easy to get to, and I'll cover that in another video. But you're going to want to see what version is installed on your unit, and then go to the ATN website and make sure that you're using the current version. If not, you want to go ahead and download that current version of software and put it on your micro SD card, and then load it in your unit so that you're using the most up-to-date firmware for the unit. That's one of the great things or great features I think that ATN has put into this device here and their X sight day-night rifle scopes, is the ability for ATN to continue to tweak the software, and for one, to be able to you know, provide fixes to bugs, and then the other thing is for them to be able to enhance the capabilities. For this particular unit, yeah, when I got it in, and I don't remember exactly what firmware version it was right now, I've got it written down somewhere, but clearly it was not the latest set of firmware. So I had to go through that process to actually update it first. What I'm showing here is the ATN BinoX with a monopod installed, and after spending, I don't know, let me see here, about 5 nights off and on, watching some game or some beavers around my lake, I quickly learned that I really need to make use of a bipod as far as trying to get rid of some of the jitteriness that's in the video. So basically I went to Amazon, I found a bipod here. I can't remember the details of it, but there's a bunch of them there. And I think for $15 I ended up buying one that had a quick release head on it like that, so that I can just leave the mount here installed on the binoculars. And I'm just going to tell you up front, I would highly recommend you going out and immediately picking up some type of collapsible bipod. Again, this one was only $15, and it's got 3 sections here that can easily adjust to the desired length. And I think that's going to make a huge difference in your overall viewing experience, and also a huge difference in the quality of the videos that you're going to get when you take it with your Binox. Well, I went ahead and installed a strap on it, and that seemed to go good, and it's got a good feel to it. I'm going to go ahead and end this particular video here, and just kind of leave it with covering the the external features and what you get when you purchase the ATN BinoX. And I'll try to post some more videos coming up here in the very near future, really showing you more the capabilities, both in daytime and nighttime situations, and also going through some of the menu systems and showing you some of how that works. The menu systems are very similar to that of the ATN X-Sight day-night rifle scopes, so there's a lot of similarity there. And overall, I'm just my first impressions of the unit. I'm very pleased with it. I've had it out in the backyard, and so far, I feel very positive about it. Again, there's going to be many more videos to come, and so look for them in the near future. And if you like this video, please like or subscribe, or both, and I hope to bring you more detailed reviews in the future. Thanks.